Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. You're going to need to learn why and how and when to sell your cryptocurrency before it's too late. The reason why I want to do this video is because today Bitcoin smashed through $120,000 per Bitcoin. It actually touched into the 122 range. XCN is up. How much is XCN up today? Holy cow. It's up a good clip. XRP's up. All of these cryptos that we've been talking about on the channel for a while are up, and they're going to continue to go up in the near term, but then they're not, and they're going to flip, and it's going to seem like it happens overnight. How many of you, type 1, were part of this little mini run in the altcoins between November and February? One, if that was you. And it seems like 4 months is a pretty good amount of time to make decisions, but it's not. I've said this before and I'll say it again. And I experienced this and I could not believe this emotion that I experienced back in 2017. I encountered more stress when I was watching my portfolio go from 10,000 to 100,000, 100,000 to $1 million than when I was losing money in stocks when I first started investing back in the early 2000s in earnest in the stock market. It is the craziest feeling I've ever experienced. Type yes or no if you know what I'm talking about. You're up in the middle of the night checking your portfolio in a bull run, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. And then you don't sell in time and you lose all of those gains. I want to remind people that I've got to make an announcement. Dylan and I got together and we're opening up the DeFi Pro Master Course for a handful of more students. If you want to check that out, the link is down below. There'll be 6 months left of the coaching calls, monthly coaching calls, where you learn everything we're doing, why we're doing it. And we are going to let our DeFi students in, first in the world for the cryptocurrency that we're about to help launch, a company that we invested in, and we're going to give our DeFi students first crack at that. So right now, we are in a bull run, but I want to remind you, the fear and greed index right now, phone's dirty, sorry, is sitting at 70. Yet the altcoin index is only at 31. Altcoins have not started to run yet, but when they run really fast. And a lot of emotions screw people up where they don't understand, or they're believing a bunch of hype on YouTube or on the big media where they're saying XRP is going to $1,000 and it's going to $10,000 and then they hold too long and all of those gains are gone. Look, every year I do wash trades for a specific reason. I make my money at the end of the year. I make a decision if I can pull off some wash trades and sell at a loss and then rebuy back in certain positions and take care of my gains for the year. That's what I do. Sometimes I have to offset my capital gains with capital losses in other types of investments. That's between you and the tax man. I'm not here to tell you how to do that. But I will say the hardest thing for anyone to do with their cryptocurrency is sell it, because they get emotionally attached or they deal with fear. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've dealt with that same fear. I don't want to pay the tax. I don't pay the tax. But you know what? I pay 38% on my trades, my short-term trades. I have to pay 20% on my long-term trades, anything a year and over. And I've come accustomed to understanding how cool that is. I know it sounds crazy because we all hate taxes. I hate taxes too. But when I pay taxes, it means I made money. If I pay 20% on my gains on a long-term capital gain for my stock or my cryptocurrency, it means I get to keep the other 80%. And the thing that holds a lot of people back is that fear. Am I the only one here that's thinking that? Like, type yep if you've experienced that fear. It's something you've got to get over. And this cycle is exactly that. It's a cycle, which means it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And then it's going to start over again. Just like Solomon said in the Bible, there is nothing new under the sun. Everything happens in a cycle. Everything happens in its timing. Now, sure, you've heard the stories from me that I bought XRP at 2 cents and I sold some of it at $2.06. That's over 100x. And that's great and all, but just so you know, I was buying and selling inside of that. As a matter of fact, because of the way I held crypto, and I teach my students this, when Coinbase and Binance, all these places around the world locked up crypto, it didn't lock up mine. I went and sold it at a top during COVID. And my heart went out to a lot of people. Even my cousin was part of that. His was locked. He watched the price go up and then he watched the price go down. And you know what? A year and a half later, oh, okay, you can have your XRP back. By then, the damage was done. He's still got his XRP, but he didn't make the money like I did when he was watching me sell it. That's because you have to know how to custody your own crypto properly. And the truth is, it's actually very simple if you have the right instruction and the right repetitiveness to actually go and do it and figure it out. And that's why I'm saying you've got to learn how to sell your crypto soon before it's too late. Because if you don't learn how to do this and understand why you're doing this and have that kind of conviction, you're going to be a loser. And that's not like an insult for you as a person. It happens to everybody. Hey, can everyone do me a favor? Can you acknowledge the super chat guy right now? Can you guys just say hi to that guy? He needs some love. He's one of my closest friends, John Bravo. I gotta give him crap every time. But actually, dude, watch this. Hey, Jay Bravo, do me a favor. Tell everyone how important it is to understand when to sell a cryptocurrency. Watch him. He's a professional trader. He's been doing it pretty much his whole life. And we are extremely close friends. He's one of my best friends. And the one thing that we get from each other is when we talk and we're talking about, where do you think this is going? And it's very important to be a part of a group or have friends that are in the same type of investing, because you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I don't get it right all the time, but it's really good to have a consensus. And that's where teamwork comes into play. That's why we did the DeFi Pro group. Guys, if you're in the DeFi Pro group and you're liking it, can you do me a favor and just type DeFi down below? It's a great group of people. We actually took our first loss on paper. I showed everyone why, and I made a decision. Dylan went a different direction, and that was the coolest thing. The students got to see why I said, I'm going to sell at a loss because of this reason. Dylan said, I'm not going to sell at a loss. I'm going to transfer, Synapse into that new CX token, and I'm going to run that wave. And so the group got to see why we're doing this. That's how we teach. We want to give you multiple options, show you all of this stuff, and through repetitiveness, make a lot of money. So if you want the link down to that, it's open for a little limited time. I honestly don't know when. We're going to let a few more students in, and then we're going to close it up again. All right. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.